Hello and welcome to Mollie's Motif. This is Emily and today I'm just going to show you the card that I've put together for the challenge that is starting over at Bitten by the Bug 2. It's all about music. We want to see music notes or a treble clef or bass clef, just, you know, a music cut on your card. So I will just kind of go through this. I have used 3 different Cricut cartridges for this. It's a little bit more ambitious of a card than what I'm used to doing, so I'll just kind of go through everything and show you the cartridges as I go along. But I just have a basic taupe cardstock. I did cut a 5x5. It's not my standard A2. It is 5x5, so you just take your cardstock, cut it 10 inches by 5 inches, and then fold that in half. And I do like to work with 5x5s. It kind of gives you a little bit more room to work around with mats and that sort of thing. So this is my base card. And then my paper is all coming from this Prima Marketing paper pack that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It's the Madeline collection, and it's really pretty. It's got some really, really pretty papers in here. Just really antique and kind of old-fashioned. I really like some of these papers and different color schemes, but they all coordinate so well. So this is the paper I'm using, and my base mat is just this music. It's got music notes, music, like a music sheet, and I really like that. So this is my base mat, and I have gone ahead and inked around all of my edges and all of my papers with Tim Holtz Tea Dye Distress Ink, and I just use a makeup sponge for that, and that works for me. And then my sentiment is just a note, which is kind of applicable with the card that I'm putting together and the challenge. And I just put it in the very bottom corner, and that comes from one of my Fisker's mini sets. It's the Sincere Salutations, and it's got some really fun stamps on this one. And I used my Colorbox Chestnut Pigment ink for that. So that is just down in the bottom. And then I have a strip of that pattern paper. It's just this really pretty dark red color, and it's got script written across it. And I'm just going to put that across the middle. And then I have cut from Elegant Edges. This is the first cartridge I used was Elegant Edges. I wanted to cut kind of a fancy or elegant mat. And on page 22 of the handbook, I wanted to use this mat. I didn't want to use the base mat that has the flourish on it. I just wanted to use the behind mat. So I just did the shift base and I did the shadow. And I cut it at 4 inches. And this is how that turned out. So here's the pattern paper. I love it. I think it's so pretty. So there's the pattern paper at 4 inches and then the shadow at 4 inches. And it's just kind of this blue, it's really pretty blue cardstock, and you can see the inking around both of those. And I'll just put that kind of in the center of the card. And then as far as my image, I went ahead and used, I pulled out the Serenade Solutions cartridge. I've had this one for a while. I've only used it once, so I was excited to, you know, pull it out for this card because I think when I saw this picture here, that's exactly what I wanted to do. So I have a little bird in a cage. And if you've played around with the Solutions cartridges, they're really easy. There's not too many options. It's just very basic. You do have some creative features, but you basically have a shift base, or sorry, you just have your base, and then you have a shift base, and then you have a layer, and then a shadow option, and that's it. And so I'll show you my bird cage. So all I did was cut the base out, and then the shift base to get the bars for the detail on the cage. And then if I wanted, I didn't cut the layer, but the layer would give you the 3 pieces to put, you know, on the cage. But I wanted to do something a little bit different, so I did some pearls. I just had some blue flat back pearls, and I used those, and I didn't cut the shadow. So that's the cage, and then the bird that I cut is also from this cartridge, and I just cut the base, which gives you the light pink, and then the shift, it's actually the layer, I believe. Let me just peek here. I think it's the layer that I cut. Yep, it wasn't the shift base, it was the layer that I cut to get that flourish piece on top. So anyway, solution cartridges, a little bit different than the regulars and the lights, but they still have some really fun cuts on this one. And I'll show you I didn't show you all the options on this cartridge, but it's really fun for spring, and it's got a lot of flourish cuts, which I really like, but I think it's a really fun, lot of fun options for spring, which I think we're all anxious for to get here. So I'm going to position my little bird with his head sticking out through the bars, and I've got everything on foam tape. So I want some dimension, and I cut some really teeny skinny pieces for that, which is great. That's why I love foam tape, is because you can cut any size that you want out of that. So my image will just go on top. Hopefully that made sense with the solution cartridge, but it's easy to figure out once you have it. Okay, so there is my little bird, and of course he's going to be singing, and he's got to have some notes coming out of his mouth, you know, for the Just a Note and for the Music Speaks challenge. So I pulled out Paisley because they have a fun option for just a single note, and it's found on page 62 of the handbook, and it's under the button feature, and it's the shift button, and there's just a single note. There's another option to have, you know, a few notes all together, but I just wanted the one single note, and I cut it out 3 times at 3/4 of an inch, so they are pretty teeny. And I'll show you. And I have foam tape on these too, so this is definitely more of an intricate card for me, but it was fun. It was fun to put together. So there's my little 3 notes, and they are just going to go on the card. I can do this real quick. Just something like this, and the bird is just singing a little song, and you know, I think that's just a fun little play on words, that Just a Note card. And this can be put, you know, you can give this out for anything. It's for any occasion, friendship card or thinking about you card or anything like that. And I really like the look of it. A little bit different from what I am used to doing, but I do like how it turned out. So I'll get this put together. I'll work on the inside. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do there, but I'll get that figured out, and I'll come back and show you the finished card. Okay, so I've got my card all put together, and I just really like these papers from that Madeline paper pack. I just think that they work so well together. But I did go ahead and pop up my Elegant Edges mat on some foam tape, and then of course my bird cage was all popped up as well. So there's a little bit more dimension on the front, and then the inside just kind of did a simple mat, just reversed kind of what I did on the front. I just cut another mat from Elegant Edges at 4 inches out of the blue cardstock, and then my shadow piece was out of the pattern paper. And then I took a strip of that music paper and just put it behind there. I cut another bird from Serenade, and this was cut at 1 1/4 inch. The bird on the front is just 1 inch. So this one's just a little bit bigger, and then I cut a couple more notes to put down there. And everything's just tacked down with my ATG, and I did ink around all of my edges to carry that over from the front. So just really, you know, I think it's a really pretty card, and for any occasion, plenty of room to write a little note. You can even stamp another sentiment on the inside, but just a great card for, you know, a general purpose. So anyway, this is the card that I have come up with for the challenge over at Bitten by the Bug 2, our Music Speaks challenge that starts today. I hope that you will be able to join us, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. I'd appreciate any comments or feedback that you'd have for me. You can always check out my blog. It's mollymugsblog.blogspot.com, and we will catch you next time.